So we've got a few people demoing some things. We've got 40 minutes, so we've got quite a lot of space. I've said to the demoers, you know, between 3 to 5 minutes. Some demos are probably super quick. It's quite a simple, straightforward feature, although very nice. Some may be a little bit more involved, like elections potentially. So the running order is we're going to do preview link with Stephen. Mark is going to demo a couple of things, media usage and content access by path, maybe other stuff because Mark's very busy. I don't want to put you under pressure, Mark. Subsites extras and events with Rupert. Finn, very quick microsites update, just to give
more of an update than a demo, but yeah. Yes,
an update. And Duncan on elections v3 and the latest work on elections. After that, we'll have space for questions and stuff. So hold your questions. We'll do all the demos, put them in the chat or hands up at the end. And then we'll round up with Will just looking ahead to what's coming, basically to give you a little sneak peek if you're not already aware. Mark, are you ready?
Yep, I'm fine.
Go for it.
Okay, second now.
So Mark, you've got a couple of things. You can talk us through it. With a nice shot, we don't know. Hopefully you can share screen.
Zoom and yeah, sorry, I was just closing down a couple of things as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Okay, so we should see two instances of a LocalGov Drupal site here. So this one here on the right.
Yes.
I'm logged in. This one here on the left. I'm not.
Okay.
The first thing I'll show is very, very simple. We're talking 20 seconds of a, well, not of work, but 20 seconds of a demo. And that is when you want to see where an image or a document or a video or something like that you've added to your website, where that's used. So we've got the media tab here when we come to content, media. What a lot of people are doing is clicking on this files tab here to see where's the file. But this usually isn't what you want, because the file itself gets embedded inside a media item. And that would be, it gets embedded inside a document if it's a Word document or a PDF. It gets embedded inside an image media item if it's an image, and video if it's video. So it's usually this tab here that you want, the media one. Now, what we do then is, if you want to see where this Hogmanay fireworks, for example, has been used, we can now click on this and you get a new usage tab up here. And when you click on the usage tab, so this is where the media item is used, not where the file itself is used. We can see that the Hogmanay 2021 is inside a piece of content that's called Hogmanay 2021. Now, this is a very simple example of it here, because it just shows we have one media item that's used on one page on the website. If we delete that page and we remove this item, we know it's not going to affect anything else. But lots of our media items would be reused across the website. So if we had something like, I think this discovery patch here, for example, that's used, I think, on a lot of different pages. So this makes it very handy here. So we can see that this is used on the LocalGov Drupal product group meetup page. And it's also used on these two pages here. So on this page here, it's used in one of the image fields. In these pages here, it's used inside the page component section, which is the paragraphs or the rich text area that we have created. So it's a handy way so we can see everywhere that any specific media item on our website is used across the website. And then we can click through here to see where is it, and we can see that's it here. Or on this page here, we'll see it at the top. So that's all. It's actually a very simple piece of work we did, but it was something we probably overlooked and should have had a long time ago. So that's that one. The second thing I'm going to look at.
I was just going to say, maybe Lizzie's just said this makes me very happy. Lizzie might have actually asked for this. And I know that Ben, who Bill Hills Jones, I work with a lot, who's going, I've got this elsewhere. Why haven't I got it here, like in other councils? So loads of people have asked for it. And it was also raised at LocalGov Drupal Camp. More on that later, what we're doing with your request. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah, so yeah, I think we probably overlooked it, because we actually do have this already for our page component section. We can see what components are reused if we've got a contact component or something like that, see what page it's used on. So it was fairly simple to add it to the media area as well. The The next thing we'll look at then is a new module we created called Content Access by Pat. And this is where you have content on your website and you have editors, and you want a specific editor or a specific group of editors to only be able to edit content inside a specific section. So the use case for this was something like, say, for example, you're launching a subsite and it's a fostering subsite, and you have some external editors that go to join your team for adding some specialist content around fostering, and you want them to only be able to edit content inside fostering, but not the rest of the website. And you don't want to create a new user role, because that means we have all this big, huge permissions page, and we've got to click and click and click and click all these checkboxes. So what we've done is say if we look here for a second at content, and I look for fostering, subsite overview page, fostering. So we've got this fostering landing page here, and its URL is /fostering. So let me just add a new user to this website. So at the moment, we've only got the admin. So I'm going to add Mark, at mark.ie, username Mark, password Mark. And I'm going to say that this person is an editor. So if it's a high enough level access that I can do a fair amount of work. So I'll create this account here. Now I'm going to log into this version of the site over here. And you can see now that the user called Mark can edit everything on the website. And this isn't what we want, because I'm an invited guest, and I'm only supposed to be able to edit the fostering content. So we can install a new module that we created called Content Access by Pat, and then a submodule inside that called Admin Content. And this is the one that says that the only things that will get listed over on this page here are things that you're allowed to actually edit. So I'll install this. This is the part again now where live previews and
yeah, this is where you
hopefully nothing goes wrong. So we should have a new vocabulary now called Content Access by Pat here. So we'll add a new taxonomy term to this, and I'm going to call this one here fostering. And I'm going to say that the path for this is fostering. Now we have instructions down here that kind of tells us what to do. So anything that's that /fostering on your website, whoever has this taxonomy term applied to their user account will be able to edit content inside that, but no other content. So I'll save this here for a second. So now we have that fostering term here. Now if I go to my Mark user, that's me here, edit, we get a new tab down at the bottom. It's called Content Access by Pat, and I say that Mark is allowed to edit things in fostering, and I can add another item. So if we also had other sections like planning and other sections like births, marriages, and deaths, I could add all these in here as well. So at the moment, I'm only allowed to edit the fostering section. I'll save that. Now when I come back over here to where I'm logged in as Mark, and I refresh this page, you see all the content's gone. So the only content I can see here that I can edit or work on is the content that I'm actually allowed to edit and work on. So if I click on fostering, I can click on the edit button here, and I can do whatever I want to do. So we'll just say update 1 and save that. So that should be, oh, that's in the,
that's what I mean.
It's in the summary somewhere. we'll pretend it's on the screen. But if I come to a different page, so if I come back over here and we get a,
yeah,
another page, so we'll,
the extra risk because if we're paying top dollar for sending it, then
so request support for an adult. So I can now view that page, and I can see the revisions of what other people have done on it, but I can't edit it like I could with the fostering section. And if I come back over here, I can still see it's only the fostering section. Now we might decide then that we'll say fostering news, but that's not under /fostering, that's under /news /fostering. So we can come to the fostering term that we created here a minute ago. We can edit that, and we can add in a second path. So we can say also news /fostering. So now the user called Mark, or anybody who has this taxonomy term attached to them, will be able to edit anything that's in fostering or anything that's in news /fostering. And then if we can keep going then to add extra terms then for each of the sections that will be on the website. So we might add another one then, we're saying for planning, and planning is that we'll say housing /planning. and then we can add that term onto whatever users we want. That's it really. It's just a handy kind of access control mechanism to make sure that people can only edit the content inside the sections that they're allowed to edit the content inside.
So can I ask
Yeah.
if it works with quick edit?
If it works with quick edit.
With quick edit, yeah.
I haven't tried it, but quick edit module is deprecated, so it probably shouldn't be hanging around.
Okay.
I don't know. I would hope it doesn't work, but it's a good question.
We can go and try it.
Yeah, I might go try it.
Okay.
Just to give a bit of background to this, so it's funded by Essex. So thank you, Essex, if anyone's here from that. And they wanted to devolve a specific bit of their site, and I know a lot of you do devolve content out into your sort of services. So it definitely works with that. You can also assign everybody, rather than editor, you can assign them one of the other roles. So as a central content team could approve. So it works with workflow as well. So that's all good. So yeah, thanks, Mark, for I think we went through three different versions of this, didn't we?
We
and got
did.
to this version. So thank you for persevering.
Thank you, Will.
Right, I'm going to keep us moving because we're past half past now. Thanks you very much, Mark. We might need you as a backup in case Stephen can't do his demos.
Good. So the couple of enhancements, I guess, we have done to the preview link module, which, if you're not aware of, would allow, if I just pick a piece of content, and not that piece, why don't I see an edit? When I edit a piece of content, you get an option to preview a link, preview it, and this gives you a link. So if you want to test content out with other people, this can be unpublished content, so sections of changes to your site. You can generate a preview link, and then you can share this around people, and they will see that they'll be able to check the content and sign it off without having to have an account on the site. When we have things, when we have sort of large things you want to review. So if you're doing a whole guide, for example, you might want to have people preview the whole guide. And there was an option to add lots of URLs. So you could add lots of all the guide pages, but there was no way of doing it automatically. So what we have done is add a button which will automatically populate the whole guide. So you can just click that and it will now create a preview link for the whole guide. And this link then will have all these pages can be unpublished, and anyone following one of the preview links will be able to check the whole guide. This has been implemented for a number of sort of grouped content we have. So it works for directory channels. So we can view a directory channel or edit it. And there will be, on the preview link, there'll be an option to, when it loads, this has got lots of maps thing on it, hasn't it? So now we can add all the pages for this directory channel, and it will work for directory channels, it will work for subsites, and it will work for step-by-steps. Will
it work for publications, Stephen?
It will not at this time.
Okay.
It can. The publications have references to other publications. So it's kind of like lots of nodes. So if you've got, as in directories, you've got directory channel, and then you've got a lot of different directory nodes underneath it. Anyway, I can certainly look at the publications and see if it's the sort of thing that can be used for. It's very simple. It's a patch on the preview link module, which hopefully they will review and include in the module, and then it's just a simple plugin, Drupal plugin, which defines some logic on how to populate these things. So it's quite simple to add new ones.
I think because I'm not that au fait with publications, I'm still trying to get my head around it. If it is a multi-page kind of content format type, and I think to Lizzie's point, we need to add that too, because this is the pain point that we've recognised for a long time. It's like, as a content editor, you want to basically send a preview to a whole thing, like a whole guide, a whole directory, a whole subsite, a whole whatever, and it's been really painful. So that this directly addresses that need. So maybe, Stephen, I can write a new card or add to what's there, whatever you like, really. But I think we should look at it. If that's okay.
Yeah, we'll certainly can look at it.
Thanks, Stephen. And the other one you wanted to demo was service content.
Sorry, Aaron, before we move on, Mark, just there's a small, see that copy link to clipboard? That was an extra feature we built. That's not part of the preview link module. We've contributed it back. Hopefully it will be, but a lot of editors were trying to copy the link, but since the link itself is a link, they kept clicking on the link by accident. Gotcha. So we have that little handy button to add that to your clipboard.
Nice. Snazzy. Stephen, service contacts.
So service contacts are, we can now have this idea of service contacts which you can associate with content, and then the service contacts will receive notifications when this content needs review. So we can create a service contact either from a Drupal user, or we can use a name and email address. So we can create one from, we've got LocalGov admin, we can create one, or we can create one using just a name, if I can spell my name correctly. We can then go on picking any piece of content. We then have a new widget down the side called service contacts, and we can search for service contacts and add our service contacts. So this has associated these two service contacts with this piece of this page. If we then review this content, and when it passes its review date, an email will be sent to these two service contacts saying this content needs to be reviewed. So that is it in a nutshell. Behind the scenes, it is using the Drupal Symphony Mailer module, which allows us to customize things like the template we send to the service contacts, and allows a whole bunch of other configuration. And then there is some configuration to change when it should go out, so we can disable it, and then how often should we send these emails. In a nutshell, that is it.
That's a lovely nutshell, Stephen. Thank you very much. Will, anything to say?
Well, I was just to say these, like Stephen and Mark, it's making it all look easy. Like, what's the Gov UK thing? Is do the hard work to make it simple. That's basically what we're doing. There's been loads and loads of really hard work in this. So thank you to both of you and to everybody else who demos. There's more coming with service contacts that we're talking about. So there's a need about seeing all the pages owned by a particular service contact. So you can see that. We're talking about that now. There's a card a little bit further out. It's talking about how do you get all the service contacts in to LocalGov Drupal without having to manually do it. So is it going to accept like a CSV upload or whatever? I think there's a couple more like that. Can't remember what they all are. But if you come along to the product group meeting, we can talk about it. That's all.
Very much. We've got to keep moving. I'm very conscious of time. This has taken longer than I thought. Live demos. Subsites extras and events with Rue. And Finn, maybe we do a text update in the chat for microsites, if that's okay.
Cool.
We'll see. We could squeeze you in, Finn, we will, but I'm going to prioritize demos today. Rue.
Is my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Going to talk about events first.
Okay, lovely.
Both of these two features were co-funded by Essex County Council and Hammersmith and Fulham, though, so thank you to them. So events. The existing LocalGov events module is based on a module that does recurring events, but it's kind of limited by what that module can do. You get one view of events when you install LocalGov events, but that doesn't necessarily fit everyone's needs. So like you might want, say, a listing of council meetings, and then you might want another for events in a specific park, another for events at libraries. So the idea behind this is it lets you split up your event listings. So like the important stuff doesn't get lost in sort of really frequent events, like stuff that happens every day. You can kind of do this with what's there at the moment, but you need a dev to get involved and build separate views and stuff like that. So there's no way for someone who's just creating content to build it. So obviously LGD already has a system that lets you create listings of content like as an editor without involvement from a developer, and that's directories. So how about we make events work like directories? And before we started work on this, me and Will and some other people tried it out in a call, and it kind of worked, but you run into the problem where like each event only gets listed once in the directory. Like the recurring stuff just doesn't work. So that's what we've made happen. So this is my local build. You can see I have 2 directory channels. There's one here for libraries events, and there's one here for parks events, and then I've got 3 events. I've got something with books, which happens at the library. I've got something with dogs, which happens at the park, and I've got something with children, which also happens at the park. So if I click into the parks event channel, it's not the most interesting demo of this in the world, I'm afraid. So the parks, we have something with dogs on a Monday, we have something with children on a Wednesday, and you can see they recur, and it basically, we've made a module that writes recurring events into the search index for a predefined period of time, which is set to 2 years by default. So I can go 2 years into the future and all the recurring events still appear. So just to prove that these are separate things, if I go into the libraries channel, we get something with books at the library every single day. So yeah, that's where this is at the moment. In terms of what's left to do on it, as you can see, we've built the stuff under the bonnet to make this work. It's already out there in the wild as a new Drupal module, so we've basically just got to bring it back into LocalGov events, make LocalGov events work like this by default, and set up an upgrade path for existing sites. So that's where we are with that. Subsite extras.
Fantastic, Roo. Yeah, subsite extras.
Yeah. So back at the end of 2022, the first thing that we launched on what was then beta.lbhf.gov.uk were some subsites. And the idea was the web team at Hammersmith and Fulham didn't want to just bring over all their content in one go. They wanted to audit it and rearrange it and make the most of, what actually, all the new stuff they were getting in LGD. But Ryan kind of looked at the existing subsites module. I'm going to blame this all on him, I'm afraid. Decided it was a bit limiting and asked if there were any ideas for how we could do it a bit better. Yeah, so this is what we did. So we built our own solution for subsites that works in a different way to the existing LocalGov subsites module. It's designed to be more flexible. Technically, the module can let any content type be used as a subsite, and any content type can be one of the subsite pages as well. And subsites have different theming applied via CSS. Every page in the subsite picks that theming up. There's also support for LGD's content types like directories. So if you put a directory channel into a subsite, any pages in the directory pick up the theming as well. Same for guides and other multi-page types. It's also designed so you can reuse its internals to do custom stuff, which I can show you a bit of in a second. So subsites extras is effectively Hammersmith and Fulham's subsites module brought back to LGD. You don't have to use it with the existing subsites module, but we've modified it so it can work with it if you want it to. So I'll show you a few of the existing subsites that are on Hammersmith and Fulham's website. So there's pest control, which is this nice teal color. There's living independently, which has this red theme applied to it. And this is one of the ones that's got a directory in it. So if I click into find services, there we go. So that's got a directory. And if I click into one of the directory listings, that retains the subsite theme as well. Didn't point out here, but that also retained the subsite theme. There's a nice green one, a yellow one. This is one of the ones that also has a directory listing in it normally, but I think they're rebuilding it in preparation for the summer. And this one here, and before Ryan freaks out, no, I haven't recolored this one on prod. This is my local build. I wanted to show you all the colors. There weren't any pink ones. I don't know why there weren't any pink ones. So yeah, I made this one pink on local. But if I go in and show you all the color schemes that we've put in place. So like, I'm going to change it to purple. And you can see I changed it to purple.
The blue one is the one I really want to use, but obviously being a Labour council, it's never going to happen.
Oh, so shall I show everyone the blue one? Go on then. Blue. I can't believe you haven't used the pink one. It's lovely. There we go. That's the blue one. So as Will completely spoiled for me earlier, Essex has just launched a...
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Essex has just launched this. So yeah, this uses subsites extras. If we click into the main site for just a second, you can see like their main site has a red logo on white, and this is all purple. So this is actually a nice little demonstration of using subsites extras internals to change something else, because I'm pretty sure, yeah, for the record, I didn't build any of this. It uses like the module that I wrote, but all the back end was done by Adrian from the Mensa, and all the front end was done by Mark. So I'm pretty sure Adrian said that that is actually an image attached to the subsite node itself. So it's inheriting like an image, which is something that H&F site doesn't do at all. So it's quite cool that he's extended it to do other stuff. But if we click around the pages,
I don't know if that's been pushed back though, has it?
You
should ask him.
Yeah, he could push that back if he wanted to.
Yeah, or maybe give him a shout.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone would necessarily want that, but yeah, it's just a nice little example of how you can use this to do custom stuff yourself. So anyway, that page there is a subsite page. That's also, no, that one is a subsite page. I was looking at this earlier. This one here is a service landing page, and from there you can click into another service landing page, and it's still got the subsite style applied. And then you can click into this one here, which is a service page under the two service landing pages, and it's still inheriting the style. This one here is quite cool because it actually isn't a page at all, it's a view. And so like he's implemented a custom hook to make this view pull in the styling as well. And anything that lives in the view also retains the styling. Yeah, these are just other pages. So yeah.
Thanks, Roo. Fantastic. I'm gonna move us on if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it. I'm done anyway. Thank you.
Thank you. Last but not least, elections.
Yeah.
Hiya, Duncan.
Hello.
Have you got enough time?
Yeah. Cool. So there's been a lot of work going on elections. A lot of it behind the scenes, so there's not much to show. But yeah, some really good stuff happening. I will quickly show the sort of main addition to version 3. Which is the addition of the UK parliamentary constituency boundary provider. So I've created an election for, let's say, Glasgow City Council potentially, and then I'm going to just add use the new boundary provider to create the constituencies. So I'll click the add areas. So I'm running this locally, so it might be a bit slow. The boundary source is already set up, and then you just type your constituencies in that you want to add, comma separated. And just keep going on, and it's doing a lookup to an Office of National Statistics data set, which lists all the constituencies for the 2024, so it has all the boundary changes. Suspect I've missed one there. Just to make everybody happy for who's worrying about names with commas in it. It does handle that now, thanks to Maria for picking up that one. And it does do that as well. So I'll just hit that. It'll give us a funny map because I've added in Berkshire. But
the benefits of having a UK-wide project, Duncan, and someone living in Berwickshire, Roxburgh, and Southgate.
Yeah, so that's fetched all the constituencies, created them, and has brought in all the boundary information for the geo stuff for the map, which will there. So yeah, we've obviously got the weird one because the Berkshire and Roxburghshire is quite a large constituency, but yeah, Glasgow one's there as well. So that's the main sort of bit of V3. Other things that have been added in recently. Mark did a really quick wee module which does the parties. So it sets up the party taxonomy so that all the main UK parties are there. And so if you're wanting to test it, you can install that. And you've got them all already set up with their sort of colours and things already done. And you can edit it and or change it as appropriate. So, for example, up here in Scotland, all the main parties, so Labour, Lib Dem, all add Scottish in front of them. So we would obviously need to just adjust the taxonomy for that, and you may want to add others in if you have, you know. Do the Monster Raven Looney Party still stand in some constituencies? You might need to add those in. But that's a really neat wee module. There is, with all fingers crossed, we are hoping to release a beta version of it tomorrow with all the good work that's been done by everybody behind the scenes. And that will hopefully include a demo content module as well, so you can install that just to see some demo election content. The other things, it does look slightly different to what you will have seen previously. We've changed the chart provider to be chart.js, and I thought I had content in that one, sorry, which should show a graph, but yeah, the graph is slightly different. So it uses chart.js, which is truly open source, although we are hoping to provide high charts as well. And if you have a license for that, then you can use that. Yeah, there, that's got some data in it, so you can see the sort of view of it is slightly different to what was in previous iterations. There's lots of other stuff. I think, Will, if you, is there anything else to add?
I mean, this is great work and a real team effort. So thank you to Duncan and Finn and Mark and everybody who's been involved. I think that this sort of sums up what we're about is like, you should just be able to install it. You shouldn't have to do hard work. You should be able to get data where it exists. You should be able to get party data where it exists. You shouldn't have to key all these things in. You've got better things to do with your time. So please do install it and give it a whirl. If you get stuck installing it, just post in, I think it's feature elections on Slack, and we'll absolutely help you out. We want this to be on the telly because it was last time. So the more people that do it, the more we get seen, and that will be a big win for all of you and for us. So thanks.
Will, do you want to do a very quick, you've got 2 minutes just to look over the horizon?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to give everybody 2 URLs. So there's and if you go in the chat, do that. So there's the new roadmap page, which was out of date for a while, but it's now is not. It's all up to date, and it includes all the big stuff that you've seen today. So if you just have a look at the links in the chat, the roadmap one's down because our main site has been updated, but it will be back later.
I can share that now if that's useful.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we can just have a quick look at this. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you scroll down,
is that the right one? Could you see that?
It was, yeah, it was. So if you scroll down, if you go to /roadmap, this is the page that you get, and it talks about our contributions and it talks about recent releases. And these are pretty much all the things that we talked about today. You can go and read about them, you can go and install them, and we'll keep this up to date. You'll see there's a status against each one. So alphas may be a bit experimental, betas absolutely go for it. There might be a few changes, but nothing major. Stable, please do go for it. And likely they'll have documentation and videos, so we've made it as easy as possible to use. And then the backlog one, which I won't go. Oh, if you scroll down a bit, there's a new thing right at the very bottom. We've got this new block called unfunded work, and this came from a chat at LocalGov Drupal camp. There's more we want to do, but it's beyond the funding that this project has. I need to update that elections one because it's actually V4 we'll be doing next. We did V3. But there'll be things we want to do, and what we'll be starting to put here is almost like Kickstarter type proposals that you can all come and look at. And if we get the money to do it, we will do it. So if you're planning to build something new and big for yourself, maybe don't do it on your own. Come and have a chat, because we could add it here and we could get more people involved. And the more of us, hopefully we've shown today, the more people, more councils involved, actually makes the products better. It makes all of our work easier. Everybody gets the benefit. So please, if you're considering something new, come and have a chat about it. And come along to the product group where we talk about this stuff. If you go to our Luma pages, you'll see the next one. How much do we need, Will? Oh, obviously a wheelbarrow full of money you could bring around, and then we will do the work. The only other thing I would say, because I know I'm taking up time, is this works because of the unique way that we're funded. So you all chip in, most of you hopefully chip in subscriber fees, council fees. It creates a core team that we can do this coordination. We can get a lot of the building work done. And then individual projects like elections, like publications, are funded by councils, and we do that work centrally. I think if any one council was going to try and do this on their own, you wouldn't be able to. Certainly me sitting as head of digital in particular council would never have been able to afford this stuff on my own or do it on my own. So hopefully you see the benefits of collaboration. So please do get involved and tell us other things that you'd like to see.